I'll tell you something funny. I was talking to one of my colleagues this morning as I was approaching work, and she said to me, where's all your stuff? I said, well, what do you mean? She said, I thought you would be wearing some things to represent Black History Month. And I said, you see this right here? This is Black 365. McDonald's already told you. I'm already wearing my Black history. So I don't have to wear any apparel to promote Black History Month. I'm already Black history. So we laughed about that, and she was cool with it. A wonderful lady. And I just think that's really interesting how sometimes we forget that whatever our beauty and the nationality that the good Lord decided to give us is what we wear every day of the year. So collectively, the world has said, hey, February is Black History Month, and that's wonderful. I applaud that and thank you for it. It is the shortest month of the year, and we make it the very best that we can make it. So I said all that to say, wear your pride, gleefully all year long, whether that's, Hispanic Heritage Month, whether it's Black History Month, whether it's, Asian Pacific, whatever, Jewish, whatever it is, just be proud of it and just know that you're doing it every day that you have breath in your body. So that just tickled me. I'm so glad you stopped by because I've been wanting to tell you about my discovery set I recently received from the Harlem Candle Company. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I first discovered them through their fragrances, but it is my understanding that they have been well established long before they began to do fragrances by producing candles, hence the Harlem Candle Company. So my introduction to them has been through their discovery set, which I recently received, and I really want to take the time to go through it with you and show you some of the fragrances that stood out to me. Okay, so I picked up my discovery set for the Harlem Candle Company from Sephora. And I do want to make mention that my 6-piece set is different from the one that's featured on the website for Harlem Candle Company. So the pieces in my set that I purchased from Sephora has Golden Muse, Showgirl, Langston, Billy, Josephine, and Speakeasy. However, if you choose to purchase your 6-piece 2 ml sample set from the Harlem Candle Company, you're going to have Billy, Duke, Eartha, Josephine, Langston, and Speakeasy. So the ones that I don't have in my set would be Duke Ellington and Eartha. So now I almost want to purchase that one too because I really want to know what Duke and Eartha smells like. And I will tell you about those since I am featuring the Harlem Candle Company in today's video. But I didn't realize until just now that the two are different sets. So go figure. Tell me if you have one or the other set, or maybe you have both, like I'm going to pick up, and which one you might enjoy more. So now, before you get on my case about it, let me tell you why I purchased my sample set from Sephora. It was during their 20% off sale that they had last fall. And so I was making a number of purchases, and I definitely wanted to take advantage of picking up the set while it was on the top of my mind. And so that's why I went to Sephora and made my purchase there. Had I known, I would have probably checked out the set here, especially knowing the differences, but I do think it's worth outlining that they're still featuring the 2 mls. The beautiful thing about what's on the site is I'm looking on the Harlem Candle Company site right now, and that discovery set is sold out, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to wait a little while to get it. But one of the things I do like that's featured about it, they will offer you $20 off your full bottle size, a 50 ml bottle, if you purchase one within 30 days of having received your discovery set. So I think that's a huge incentive, and I definitely want to take advantage of that as soon as it comes back into stock. If you haven't yet had a chance to explore the Harlem Candle Company by way of fragrance, I invite you to sit with me so I can go over some of the fragrances in the set that I have that I've received from Sephora so that you can get more acquainted, because they are a Black-owned fragrance brand exclusive to Sephora. They're cruelty-free and they offer unisex, genderless fragrances, so it's something for everyone to enjoy, and it's long-wearing. So sit with me and let's discover some of these fragrances together, and maybe you can tell me what you're looking forward to picking up in your next fragrance purchase. Okay, so I do want you to know I was not able to locate any notes that would highlight what the ingredients are in each one of the individual fragrances. However, I can share with you what I ranked in terms of what I enjoyed the most, and then what I actually ended up making a travel purchase from after having explored the discovery set. Let me start from the bottom about the one that I chose as my sixth favorite out of the set because they all smelled really, really, really unique. And I did enjoy it. But number six for me is Speakeasy. And this is my fragrance bottle for Speakeasy. You can see the name. It is listed here. And then you have the name Harlem Company on the side. Okay, so this particular one has got I want to say it's a tobacco-y fragrance. Let me spray a little bit. You know what? Now that I'm smelling this has had a chance to sit now. Oh man, this is right up my alley. This has got some tobacco and some amber in it. And let me tell you something. You know, I always tell you it's got some vetiver in it. I don't even see that as a note that's listed, but I'm telling you, it's probably some vetiver in there because every time I like to handle my business, vetiver, leather, some saffron, tobacco, those notes are the ones that really hit my nerves when I'm ready to go handle some things. And this has got a sultry, smoky, spicy nature to it. I can definitely get that sweet smelling tobacco. And this, well, I did initially rank it as a number six. Let me just tell you that I'm going to make this my next purchase and it will be a full bottle. This is Speakeasy. Initially, when I purchased this set, I did have it listed as number six, but now that I'm sniffing it again, I have since changed my ranking. But for the sake of the video, that's where it's currently placed previously. But I'm telling you, I'm going to make this a full bottle purchase because it is that good to me. Okay, so I was able to locate some notes on Fragrantica for Speakeasy, and I'm showing the top notes are cardamom, pimento, bourbon whiskey, bergamot, and middle notes include tobacco, gaiac wood, labdanum, saffron, and plum blossom. And in the base notes, we have dark chocolate, patchouli, cedarwood, tonka, amber, and vanilla. So I was pretty spot on with some of the fragrance notes I was picking up. And I have to agree with one of my favorite content creators, Sharita M. She made mention that the more you smell fragrances, the more your nose is able to pick up on the different notes. So the more I've had a chance to sniff the different fragrances, the different notes, the more my nose has begun to mature and then become more appreciative of the maturity of fragrances, and even it's expanded my level of tolerance and taste for some of the notes that I would have completely been put off by in the beginning of my fragrance journey. So as I've said, Speakeasy is definitely on my to get list of fragrances, whereas before it was at the bottom of my list, and I've since um, made that topsy-turvy because that's at the top of my list now. So let me share with you what number five was. Number five for my ranking comes with Josephine. Here it is here. This is how much of the fragrance I have left in my 2 ml. Now this particular fragrance is, I would describe it as being something that's warm and a little sultry. I would liken it to if you have a beverage, whether it's alcoholic or not. You know how you get that warm feeling in your tummy when you have something that's got some spice in it and it's just like a warm, heated feeling. That's what the scent of this fragrance gives me, and it's not unpleasant. It just isn't too my liking enough to make a full purchase. So let me share with you what the fragrance notes are. On the top, we have Italian bergamot, amorous, and incense. In the middle, it's night blooming jasmine, vanilla orchid, tonka bean, and in the base, we have dark oriental patchouli, Indian sandalwood. That's what I'm showing as the fragrance notes as mentioned on Fragrantica, and not a bad fragrance at all. There's not a bad one, I think, in this lineup. It's just a matter of finding the one that you enjoy the most. And for me, it is warm, it is sultry. It's not just like I don't care for warm milk, although it is warm and it would leave a nice warm feeling in my tummy. If I did have some, I would prefer to have maybe like a hot toddy or a hot chocolate that would still give me the same sensation. So it's just coming down to the scent profile. I have nothing ill to say about any of these fragrances in the lineup. I do have my favorites, and I've already revealed that Speakeasy is my next purchase from the house. So let's go down to our number four ranking. Okay, so Langston is going to make my number four ranking, and here's my fragrance here. And this is how much I have left in my 2 ml. Now let me just go ahead and reveal what has probably already been revealed to most of you if you are familiar with this brand and this particular fragrance. It is very, very similar to Angel Share. However, it is different enough to say they are different. It's kind of like if you see somebody wearing the same hairstyle, but they have a part on the left side and the other one has a part on the right side. Or you know how I would say that this fragrance is like if you go somewhere and you see someone in the same outfit that you have on, but it looks different. They're wearing the same dress, same pants, same shoes, but it looks different because the person is different. The shape is different. The height is different. The texture on their body is different. That's what I would say about Langston. And I'm comparing that to Angel's Share from Killian. This is not Angel's Share from Killian. It's not even identical to Angel's Share from Killian. However, just like I told you, wearing that dress that is unmistakably the same dress, but it looks different because it's on two different bodies, that's how I would say this fragrance is. It's unmistakable. Unmistakable. I'm not going to argue with anybody. It's unmistakable about where the inspiration came from. Unmistakable. However, the two fragrances are very different. And really, given the opportunity, I would likely choose this one first because Angel's Share has been just, that poor little horse has been beaten to oblivion. I mean, every time you turn around, a fragrance house is coming out with their rendition, their replica, their remix, their download of Angel's Share, which is, as I've said before, an absolutely exquisite fragrance. This one offers you something different. The fragrance notes in Langston are Sri Lankan cinnamon, caramel apple, chocolate. In the middle, we have orange brandy, night blooming jasmine, citrus absolute, and orris. And in the base, vanilla, musk, sandalwood, and tonka bean. So there are differences. It's not like you're going to smell this and say, oh, that's Angel's Share. No, it is not the same. But it has the same comfort, the same warmth, the same heat, the same booziness that Angel's Share would have. I would say Angel's Share has much more booze to it, but this is still going to give you the same heat, the same warmth, but in a different way. The ingredients are different. Just like hot sauce and tobacco are both going to give you some heat, but one's got flavor. In my opinion, hot sauce has heat and flavor. Tabasco sauce, just heat. That's all heat. That's all heat. It's not going to add any flavor to your cuisine at all. My opinion. But I think you're getting my drift about the comparisons of the fragrances. So this one I would love to have in my collection. It's not on my immediate get list because I do have some other fragrances that are similar to the Angel's Share profile that is not Angel's Share. But if you're looking for an alternative to getting Angel's Share, I would invite you to try out Langston because it is different enough to enjoy, but familiar enough to say, yeah, I like this. It's boozy, it's apple pie, it's warm, and it's great for this time of year. Let me share with you my number 3. The fragrance in my number 3 spot opens with green leaves, neroli blossom, sparkling bergamot. It follows through with gardenia, jasmine petals, frangipani, and ylang ylang. And then there's vanilla in the base, along with coconut milk, sandalwood, vetiver, and musk. I am talking about Billie, as in Billie Holiday. Here's the fragrance. This is what I have left. This particular fragrance composition is quite floral to my nose. And I was surprised that I found it to be so appealing because typically I would never have classified myself as being someone who enjoys floral fragrances. However, the more I've gotten into the waters of fragrances and understanding the notes, I understand that certain fragrances, especially where they're placed, makes a big difference with the totality of how the fragrance is going to perform and the overall bottom line of what you'll end up having. This is really, really nice. It's got a certain freshness to it. It's light. It's got, it's kind of sparkling. I think that's what caught me by surprise on this fragrance. It's sparkling, not in an effervescent way, not in a bubbly kind of way, but sparkling in terms of it's got a springiness to it. It's springy. It's perky. And I really, really like it. It's lush and soft, but it's got some bursts of It's bright. This is a bright fragrance. So I don't know if I'm bringing it to life well enough for you, but if you could imagine the way that plants bloom, the way that they're starting to open up and flourish at the very beginning of spring. I'm not talking in the heat of it where we have lots of pollen floating around in the air. No, I'm talking about the first signs that spring is springing and winter is gone away. That's what I'm talking about related to this fragrance, Billy. It is my number 3. I don't know that I would ever get a full bottle of it, but it is very, very enjoyable. And I think that you would like it if you're looking for something to come in a transition between the winter weather and the spring weather. I think this would be a great way to open those doors. Let me share with you what's number 2 in my lineup. Golden Muse is my second selection in this particular lineup. And this is how much is left in the fragrance. Now this, as I've said, as all the fragrances are, they are unisex, designed for men and women. This particular one, there's nothing in the note lineup that says there's an animalic appeal to it, but I'm telling you, that's what I'm picking up. What I do see in the description is that it is floral, woody, and musky, and I will agree to that. Let me share with you the notes that I found. I see ambergris, coconut milk, peach, jasmine, and salt. And this particular fragrance I would best describe as, if you could put a wedge between spring and summer, right in that transition before it gets hot, before it, you can really say we're out of spring. That's what I would put this fragrance, Golden Muse, right about there, because it's not necessarily, in my opinion, dense enough to handle the cold weather that we're in right now. But we're also going to be coming into the transition of winter going into spring after a few months. But this, I think, would be ideal for the transition of spring into summer. So I think it's wonderfully floral, wonderfully woodsy. I have a lot more wood notes that I'm picking up on. And this would be like wearing that windbreaker jacket, where it's not necessarily cold enough to wear a parka, but it's not warm enough to just wear a t-shirt either. I would say it's I would say it's a lined windbreaker jacket, kind of a weather that I would wear this in. It's not exactly ready for the heat, but it's good enough for the coolness of spring. And I can't wait to add this to my fragrance collection. I've already said Speakeasy is my next purchase, but I really want to share with you now what my number 1 selection was in this entire set. And you may have already figured it out, but let's do the big reveal. Showgirl is in my number 1 spot for my favorites in this Discovery 6-piece set from the Harlem Perfume Company. And this is what I have left in the fragrance. As you can see in all of these, it didn't take me much to spray to decide what I liked and what I wasn't going to purchase right away. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. But I will be finishing this off as well as the others in my collection. And I'm telling you, this is a floral fruity fragrance. I would love to smell this on a man. It has been my experience. I told you I have guys, and every time my sons spray something that I find to be incredibly sweet to my nose, smells magnificent on them. For example, Kayali's Candy Rock Sugar smells amazing on their skin. Bougie on Marshmallow, fantastic. This would smell absolutely exquisite on a man. I am certain it would, because I love it. And I'm telling you, I purchased this as a travel set because, again, I was shopping, and after I got this Discovery set, I went and got a travel size so that I could further explore the fragrance. But Showgirl will absolutely be full size, 50 ml on my dresser just as soon as I can say when, because it is so beautiful. Let me share with you the notes. On the top, we have mandarin orange, pink pepper, and bergamot, jasmine sambac, lavender, and cardamom are the middle notes. And in the base, you have musk, amber, and Australian sandalwood. Just a warm, spicy, fruity, floral fragrance, and you cannot go wrong with this. This is something I would venture to say you could wear all year long. And the only reason I haven't worn it this winter is because it has been in my list of things to record. So that's why I haven't pulled it from its box and carried it around with me, because it is absolutely fantastic. And I was taken immediately by it. Showgirl. It is just, it's one of those fragrances you might want to prepare yourself to share this bottle with whomever might be in the house with you, because it is just not only a crowd pleaser, but it is, I would say, a show-stopping fragrance on a man and on a woman. You're going to enjoy it through and through. So please share with me and let me know if you have picked up this fragrance set. If you are interested in getting it, keep in mind that the set that is featured on Sephora is different than the set that you're going to find on the website for the Harlem Candle Company. This is my set. Yes, the ones on the Harlem Candle Company site will give you Billy, Duke, Eartha, Josephine, Langston, and Speakeasy. Speakeasy, as you can see, is in both sets. So if I didn't need any more confirmation, that will be it. I will be getting that as my next purchase. Thanks for stopping by. I got to tell you about a couple other things that I picked up, and I think you're really going to be interested in hearing about some of those new finds and fragrance surprises. So I'll talk to you soon. Take good care.